Yep, go for it. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Patrick Manning. I'm an account executive here at Formax in Dover, New Hampshire, in our demo room, about an hour north of Boston. Appreciate you taking some time today to understand how to make the most out of the MFPs that are out there. So Formax, through our dealer network, does not provide the MFPs. We provide all of the offline finishing solutions, and we have a lot of options. So today, we're just going to go over a handful of them, because if you're a dealer who's on there, we really appreciate you joining us. You need to be asking your customers, what are they doing after the piece is being printed? It never stops at just the printer, because these offline solutions that Formax has and that are available, this is something where if you don't mention these offline solutions for your customers, they're either going to go down to some local Staples, Office Depot, get something cheap and ineffective. They could either go online, get something that's non-qualified, maybe not going to work for their workflow with some uncertainty in regards to post-sale support and how that's going to work. Or they're going to purchase through your competition who is leveraging Formax and these offline solutions to be able to give a more complete solution for your customer, because that's what you're trying to do ultimately. The job doesn't end at just the printer. You got to think beyond it to be able to help them out. And for customers, this is going to be a great way for you to see how you can take control over some of your media. Save some time without having to outsource it on somebody else's time frame and their schedule. Save money by bringing it in-house so you don't have to pay somebody else to do it. Have control over your own media. Be able to handle short runs. Be able to be clever and think of some ideas right off the bat and being able to implement them and have more control over it. So if you are a dealer and you're thinking about things and you're trying to say, all right, well, what's he talking about? Well, if you have something like a scanner that's up here, you should really be asking, hey, how are you jogging those documents? How are you making sure that they're aligned perfectly so they could get in there and they will process one at a time? Furthermore, once they're done scanning, do you have an on-site shredder? How are you destroying this sensitive information? You could also be thinking, hey, I noticed that you're printing a lot of pamphlets as well. Are those pamphlets being folded? Are they being done by hand? Do you need an inline solution? Can you take it offline? There's a lot of offline folders that are going to be colossally faster and a lot easier to manage for those workflows that are out there. Are you creating business cards? This thing can print on cardstock. Why do you want it to print on cardstock? You making business cards? You making postcards? How are you cutting those down after? Is it a cheap trimmer where you got to do them only like a little bit at a time? Is it scissors? I mean, what's it going to be? So you need to be able to ask these solutions, and we have a lot of offline solutions to be able to accommodate it. When you're building out this MFP, everyone wants the inline solution. You want to just have one machine that's just going to do everything and walk away. But the reality is you have a machine that has a lot of moving parts. So when you have a machine that has a lot of moving parts, and you put more moving parts into it, something like maybe a folder that's inline, what you're doing is integrating more pieces of equipment together. In turn, what you're doing is allowing more things that can go wrong with that, because if one piece doesn't work, it can slow down the printer potentially. Look, keep it as simple as possible. Let the printer print, let the folder fold, let the jogger jog, let the cutter cut. That's the most effective way that you can really help out your customer. And if you are a customer, those inside solutions are going to do two things. One, they're going to be a lot more expensive. And furthermore, they may take up space that you don't have. You may be putting this into an environment that really doesn't have the space to have some sort of booklet finisher that's on the end of it, or any sort of folding mechanism. So today, we're just going to go over a handful of these solutions that we have available that after the printing, what are you doing with printing? How can we finish it? Everything from business cards to paper folding to even booklet finishing. So thanks for joining us today. And the first thing that we're going to start with is joggers, because let's face it, if you have a stack of documents that's being printed and it's coming out the printer, they are never this perfectly aligned, right? A jogger is something that has endless amount of verticals that are out there. because everybody needs it if you're handling a lot of sheets of paper. Whole bunch of printed invoices right here, right? That's about what they're going to look like at the end. Now, I can sit here and incessantly try and tap these out and eliminate the heat and the static for everything, or I can load it into the FD402P1 jogger. And all this machine does is shake paper. That's it. So in a matter of seconds, you have heat and static that's completely eliminated, and then you have a pile of sheets that's right here, that's lined up, easy to go. So if I do need to get these scanned, I can drop them in and it's going to process with automation. If I do need to take, if I'm a law office and I need to take a stack of these papers and I need to put them into a flat envelope by hand, they're all lined up and ready to rock. The 402P1 is a factory list price of just under $1,500. This is a solution that must be mentioned for any customer out there who is printing more than 20 sheets at a time. Customers love it. This is one of 3 different jogger options that Formax carries. We have a tabletop version that blows some air through it. We have a standalone for more production that can do larger sheets and blows air through it and shake it. It's a very, very simple solution. These are in so many different environments, and this is the easiest thing that you can do to bulk into a proposal. If you are offering an MFP, or if you have any customer who's scanning, go up to them and say, hey, how are you jogging your sheets before you load them in the scanner? Or if you know you're folding, how are you jogging those sheets before I put them in the folder? A lot of people get paper joggers because the next step in their process is maybe folding. Maybe it's having a stack that's aligned right so you can load it into one of our cutters. Maybe it's putting it through a folder inserter where you really want those sheets not all over the place in one messy pile. So this is our offline folder. For our desktop friction-fed folder, this is our top-of-the-line one in our Formax FD38XI. Fully programmable, custom jobs, save settings. You hit buttons. These move automatically to accommodate different paper sizes and different fold types. So this is a really, really great solution that you can avoid putting in line and being pigeonholed into the speed of however it's being printed, or also being limited by what this MFP can actually fold. A lot of the times it's tough to make adjustments or impossible to make adjustments to certain trifolds or something. Here you have everything that's fully customizable. And when you have something where you do one, you see how it looks. If it looks great, then you can do one too. Now think about how fast that is that we were able to process that. You know, that's just a whole bunch of sheets ready to go, fully folded. Think about your churches. Every church prints out pamphlets and they need to be able to deliver for their masses to hand out. Imagine someone sitting there folding these by hand. Imagine if all of a sudden the folder unit on the MFP all of a sudden goes down. What do? It's integrated to the printer. You got to call a service call. Let the printer print. Let the folder fold. And this solution right here is around $6,200 MSRP, but this is one of a lot of different options. You can even get a $1,000 solution on our small FD300. Outside, in between, it all depends on the media, the size that you want to do. It all depends on your volume. Look, you don't have to be an expert. The best thing you can do is, if you're a dealer, is to contact your Formax rep, let them know volume, application, potentially budget, and we'll give you a lot of guidance to be able to make a qualified decision for your customers. This is a great unit, all metal construction. The multi-sheet feeder up here, where if you have a few one-offs, something like up to 4 pages, you just want to be able to drop this in so it can fold and nest everything together. You can. Custom jobs, program jobs that are in there, bright, easy to use touchscreen, batch counter that you don't need to read War and Peace of a manual to try and figure it out. A really, really great solution, something that's fast, and something that your customers are going to think, while it's nice to have the inline folder, have more control over the folding by getting it done a lot faster. Now, we're talking about questions you can ask. How are you folding right now? What are the size sheets that you need to do? Is there anything like big stock that you need to be able to accommodate? Those are some basic things that you can get to. Is it glossy? A couple questions that you can ask. And if you're a customer, this is going to make your life a lot easier, because go print, go do whatever you need to, come back, grab them, maybe jog them, throw them in here, bing, bang, boom, they're done. Now, I also brought up, machines having the ability to print on cardstock. So if we are printing on cardstock, what are we doing with that cardstock once it's done? Are you printing on business cards? Do you need to do postcards? Do you have some brochures that you're doing? How are you cutting those down after? So this is an example of a great business card cutter in our flash card. Compact, small, rugged. For its capabilities, it's the least expensive that's out there, and it's a killer machine, up to 350 GSM that this can process as well. You print your business cards, you run them through here. So with this, I am taking a sheet that's on a letter size sheet of paper, 10 up, and just like that, I've created 10 even flush business cards, ready to go and totally clean, easy to use, and it all came off from somebody printing one of these, taking them out, maybe putting them in the jogger first to get them aligned, and then loading them into your flashcard business card cutter so this machine can go and slit and cut with automation. This is a fantastic solution because this is going to be a sub $5,000 MSRP solution. There are optional cassettes. Maybe someone wanted to do a 5x7 postcard too. Terrific. There's a cassette that you can take in and out with ease that you can put in there that does that 7-inch output, so you can do 2-up 5x7 postcards. So great placement for this are, appropriately enough, with the car that's going to be on here, car dealerships. How many different salespeople are at a car dealership on any given day? How many times do they need to hand these out? Why would you not want to be able to have control over creating your own business cards on demand for something that's half the size of a microwave, something that is less than $5,000 solution that you can propose either with the MFP or keep in front of your customer after? Why would you want to wait on demand for business cards to get fulfilled when you can just do them right then and there? This is a great solution that's going to accommodate a lot of different environments, and I think of car dealerships as being one of the primary ones that's out there. Sometimes, when you are printing on cardstock, maybe you're like, well, I'm printing actually 12 by 18, and I'm printing butt slips, and I'm doing this, and I want the ability to cut them down. So you can have something like this, right? And this is the same amount of cuts. This is a pretty static job. Maybe something like our guillotine cutter and our Cut True 28A is a good option. This is a best bang for your buck machine that's going to fit into the widest variety of environments. We are seeing these in a lot in the educational verticals, particularly the vocational schools, and a lot of people who are basically teaching print shop values, and having a lot of people who, there's like a lot of disability associations too who want to be able to use this because it's really easy to use, it's safe, it's automated, it fits through most standard doors, it runs off of standard power, and then even here you have a safety shield so you don't have to have an infrared safety shield, so you don't have to have a cover that comes in and out and in and out in between each steps. You can load this in, make programs for it, and the programs, all they do is there's a backstop that's up here. And this backstop is literally the thing that you program on all cutters that can move to and fro, and you make your media match up against it and line up. Put a program in there, and then this will move automatically to your next step after each successive cut, or just use the laser guided line, come on over, hit 2 buttons, and it cuts. So this is going to be a sub $15,000 solution, factory list price, a great solution for probably the widest variety of environments, but this is something where you can have a lot more control over your media. Maybe you are doing more than just business cards and just 5x7 postcards. Maybe you want the flexibility to do a little bit more. That's when guillotine cutters give you that, because you move the media wherever you want it to go for any given job that's out there. So maybe it's something a little bit more linear in this. Perhaps you have customers who are making booklets. You have a saddle stitch that's coming off the bottom of your MFP. So if you have that saddle stitch, and maybe you've already sold one for your customer, maybe your customer does have one right now, there's got to be a way to finish these booklets. So there's a couple. First that people do is they'll take our square it, just our regular square it, and then they'll square the very edge of the booklet, and then they'll bring it on over to something like our 23S. Now the Cut True 23S is great for a lot of different applications because it's compact, standard power, safe, and it's going to be a sub $5,000 solution MSRP. Even if you had something like this, oh, it's the cat show, and I got to be able to trim off some of the sides onto it. You can either use this for booklets or a variety of different media. Load it in, put your spindle guided clamp on, put the safety cover down, and it cuts. Take the cover off. You go, you got a nice, clean, even cut, and I can make my successive cuts after this in order to make this full bleed. These are considered stack cutters. So this you can load a media of up to 3 inches high. This is about 1 3/4 of an inch high. So print this from the MFP that you provide to your customer. Maybe jog it, get it aligned, load that stack into the cutter, hit two buttons, and it cuts. So this 23S may be good for something with a couple of basic quick cuts that you can do. And then also I mentioned booklets. And why it's great for booklets is because it has this spindle-guided clamp, meaning you want the clamp to hold that booklet in place with just the right amount of pressure so when that blade comes down, it cuts flush and evenly throughout the whole pages. Okay? So this is a great solution that do it, but sometimes people want something one step further. That's when we get into the Square It 2. So with the Square It 2, what this does is it takes your pre-stapled, pre-printed booklet, right, and it squares the edge and it face trims. So it's a dual thing. Now what you're looking at are each one of this is 2 catalogs. Look at the difference. This is squared and face trimmed, looking a lot more professional. It lays flat. It's easier to ship. Now with the squared edge too, you can print on the spine. It's just something that makes it a lot more attractive of a media. Go to your local grocery store and look in the magazine rack. All of those have been squared. So that's something where you want the ability to create an automated solution because look at these when they stack up, right? It's all bowing. This just came off the saddle stitch. So how does this work? The Square It 2, again, it's something where you load on in and it goes in stages. So right now, this is step 1 of this job that's coming on over. So what I'm doing is, it's just going to square the edge and face trim. So if you have something like this unit that's in line with an MFP, the issue you're going to run into is space. It could take up a lot more space that's on the end of that, or it's going to add a lot more money to it, $20,000, $30,000, whatever it's going to be. You can take this offline, and this is around a $16,000 solution. So what I did there was it squared and it face trimmed in one pass. Pre-programmed settings that are in there that you can save specific jobs for specific settings. And if I had another one, what I do is I'm still on step 1. You do them in stages. So this is another one that's coming on through. It's going to square the very edge and it's going to face trim in that one pass. So you do one after the other, and that's what that step is. I move on to step 2. Now it's going to be a little bit quicker because it's just going to trim the top. So this is a machine that's really taking a lot of that guesswork out of there. It's a lot less manual than using a guillotine cutter. So I can take this through, and all it's doing, it's just trimming the top so I can have a nice flush inside color right there. Everything's bleeding right off. And then again, if I wanted to take that other one, put it through, it would just do the top. Another one, the top. Another one, the top. I'm on to my 3rd step, which is the bottom. This touch screen shows exactly how to load that book into there. So, not to say it's dummy proof, but it makes it a lot easier for the widest variety of users to be able to come in here and operate it. Once you set that job up once, that's it. You hit steps and it's good. Now it's saying, okay, how do I load this? Back cover, there. So I take this in, and what it's going to do is it's going to trim the bottom of this now. So just like that, I have a completed catalog. Everything is really flush. It's bleeding off of everything. I've got a nice squared edge. This is a lot more professional of a piece. And again, you run these in steps and you can go on and on. Real estate companies are huge on this. And they're huge on this because a lot of them have their own implant shops and they could be limited by space. Think about adding something like this and how much depth that it adds to the end of an MFP that's going to be there. Also, it doesn't look that attractive when you can spend like half the cost of taking it offline. And a lot of times, people like to use this machine because you can even fold this thing up too. So if you wanted to come on over, maybe it's on casters, just do that, put it off to the side, roll it back out. That's going to make it really, really easy for you to operate this piece of equipment. You have a professional finished piece. It's a lot easier than doing it in line, which could otherwise potentially slow down that printing process and introduce another component that goes within. So if you have any customers out there who have that saddle stitch piece, you got to mention the square it too, or the square it, or some sort of guillotine cutter to trim all that down for you. If you have a customer who's printing off cardstock and they need to either do just business cards or just 5x7 postcards, maybe it's the flash card. Maybe they need something a little bit more flexible to accommodate a wide variety of different jobs. Maybe they need an automated guillotine cutter. If you have a customer who's out there and they either can't afford an inline folder, don't like the idea of integrating more pieces of equipment into a printer, don't have the space for it, want something fast, get them an offline folder. And for any customer you sell an MFP to, you have to mention a paper jogger. It's imperative for the widest variety of workflows. Your customers are going to thank you by doing this because ultimately this is also going to reduce a lot of service visits. This is something where you let one machine do one thing, let another one do another, and customers are going to have a lot more control over media and for any of the options they have here. Where I'm talking to you from in the demo room here is something where I'm down here conservatively 3 times a week doing demos on a wide variety of equipment. And you don't have to be an expert on any of these. That's why we're here as Formax representatives, to help the customer and the dealer out alike either go through your exact applications or go through something similar that's going to work with any one of these machines. Now, what you just saw is a handful of a lot of different solutions we have. Best thing you can do, you're going in to sell an MFP to a customer, what you should do is ask them what they're doing with their prints, what are they creating, and get Formax involved so we can give you some qualified recommendations. If you're a customer and you're considering an MFP or you have an MFP, how much control and time do you want to save by being able to do your media in-house and customization and money in turn? You can do all that with a Formax solution. So I didn't want to go too long on anything. I didn't want to go too in depth on any given machine. I just wanted to say thank you for taking some time so you can be a more effective dealer, and the customers who are out there, thank you for joining us. You can make a better informed decision about how to control your media. Now, if you are a customer who's on here, promo code that you can send on out is Formax 2025, and that's just something to let the dealers know that you were able to attend today. So at this point, it's Q&A time. I don't know, are there any questions that's there, Doug, that I can get ahead of?
No, it looks like you covered everything perfectly.
Right. Well, look, there's a recording of this for anybody who did miss it, who wanted to understand a little bit more about what we have and how we work, and the importance of mentioning offline solutions, because Formax does not offer this. We offer everything else. And this everything else is going to be a lot more of a value than outsourcing it or by making non-qualified decisions. So thank you so much for taking some time to understand our solutions a little bit better. Contact your account executive at Formax for any other further questions.